as as normal as you've ever sounded, for what that's worth.
Hey. So I'm going to leave the. So interestingly, you can put the noise reduction on for your output device as well. Remove background noise from incoming audio.
Oh, interesting. Useful for when people don't have any noise reduction stuff. We should be live anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is, if you've not seen us before, the Hop Pole Position. This is our weekly podcast where we talk about music tech and guitar-y stuff and computery stuff and generally anything nerdy that's related to musicians and computers, because those are the two things that we kind of do. I'm Adam Steele, I'm your host, joined as always by Mr. Liam Wright. Good evening, sir.
Hello.
And this is an interesting week. There's actually a surprisingly good amount of news. So let's roll the intro. And back. And hopefully people could actually hear the intro video this week. I've been working out solutions as to what's been going on, because everything's very strange with it all being new tech setups and all that kind of stuff. I'm still using a phone as my camera, which is still a nicer image than the webcam I was using. And
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, cool. I realized it wasn't turned on in Discord. You have to turn it on in Discord as well.
Oh,
It creates an. Well, when we get to the news about it, we'll go through it. But
yes.
so I sent you a link. But you actually have to change your input device. It creates a new input device.
Ah, cool.
Anyway, more for later.
Yes. So let's start as we do with our usual pleasantries. How are you?
I'm good. Went to bed at 10 last night, so I slept for like 8 hours for the first time in weeks. But yeah, just finished working like at 8:05, and then we had some technical difficulties, which is why we were a little bit late on stream, and obviously saving time so that those that wish to go outside and clap for the NHS are able to do so without having to miss any of the stream.
Indeed.
And yeah, I'm good. Say, kind of come into terms with the realization that what's actually strange for me during this whole time is that my daily routine hasn't changed, yet the world has changed. And like this week, that finally become a little bit weird. It's like, okay, things are still really no different for me day to day because I work from home anyway. But I keep reading all this stuff about how everything's so different for everyone. So it was a little bit like, But I'm I'm good. I'm good and doing lots of good stuff. How about yourself?
I'm really good. I've finally bitten the bullet and become a 2-console household. We finally we bought a PS4 Pro.
Nice.
Yes. Not having a 4K TV, so it's kind of pointless. But in future, when they're cheap, probably going to do that. But the reason we bought that is so far we've spent a lot of money just to play one game, and that is Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I've played a few hours of it, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, I watched Co Carnage play some of it, and it looked great.
Yeah.
I don't have a PS4 Pro, but I do have a PS4 that's currently not plugged in, so I think.
Yeah, well, if you've got a TV that does 1080p, then it's exactly the same, really.
Well, I have a 4K TV, so how about I swap your PS Pro for my PS4, and yeah, that's just an even trade, right? I'll throw in a Pikachu on Pokemon Go. How about that?
I'll trade my PS4 Pro for your 4K TV. Then no one wins.
Well, I win actually because my TV came free with Sky.
Oh well. Well, yeah. So yeah, apart from I'm not a big fan of the battle system because it's a lot of kind of frantic, whereas
a lot of D-pad stuff as well, isn't it?
Yeah, D-pad stuff and lots of frantic buttons and making sure it's all fast. Whereas the thing I liked about the old game was that it was all paced and turn-based, and you could choose and decide, and it was it was very measured. Where now it's just like, Rah!
So for me, it seems like it's an evolution in the RPG, which was first done that I remember with the original Knights of the Old Republic, because that was the first RPG that I played that had a similar kind of real-time sort of RPG battle aspect to it,
Mm.
which I think when done well does work, but it just takes some getting used to. But
Yeah.
I think you'll find that once you're a few hours into it, you'll kind of think that that's the only way to do it because it does look really nice.
I'm,
It's a very modern approach on it.
I'm certainly not complaining because I don't think it's bad. It's just not what I expected from this experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, they've changed a lot of things, and there's a lot of cheeky little plot twists and changes in there where someone who's played the old games is sat there going, "Hang on, what just happened?" Although I have to say the music, the score is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever's done the kind of rescore is an absolute genius because it all sounds really, really good. Not just like well recorded, but actually actively engaging music. It's really quite clever. And then there's some really silly things like it's not a spoiler to say that there's a part early on in the game where somebody's got a little radio on the side and it's playing the intro theme, but it's this like dubsteppy whoopee version. And it's just like, that's kind of cool. Oh, wait, what? Oh, why do I like this? Suddenly you want to go and clean yourself in a cold shower. Like, no.
Well, you know what else you need to get next if you've got a PS4 now?
What's that?
The game that is the most of our time right now, though not intended to be released last year.
Oh, Pandemic? Is it called?
No, Death Stranding.
Oh,
because it's about it's about a delivery driver. Basically, he's essentially a delivery driver who is now one of the most important people in the world who goes around because everyone lives inside. It's my best. I haven't played it yet, but that's kind of my take on what it seems from what I've read, which is essentially 2020.
I thought it was just Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead carrying around a jar of child.
So I won't say anything more on that because that would be part of spoiler.
Right. Okay. But that's what I got from all the trailers and stuff. I was like,
a world where everyone lives underground or wherever they live. I don't know exactly. It's kind of similar to now, so you should maybe play that and do some role play.
Maybe. Or I could just play Theme Hospital and put it on hard mode.
I did try playing Plague Inc. the other day.
Yeah.
And set the settings to real life and tried to play from like after it left China. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to save more than Greenland.
Oh, right. Oh dear.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That was a disturbing evening. I was like, come on, I can do this. It can't mutate. It'll be fine. Oh shit, okay, only Greenland's left.
Oh dear. So someone in chat just said, is this Reaper we're talking about? No, this is Final Fantasy VII Remake we're talking about. This is our weekly podcast where we talk about all music tech and guitar news and everything. That's just, the start of the show as we open talking about what we've done this week. On last Monday, I did 3 streams in one day, which is why I haven't done anything stream-wise since, because I was just like, do all the streams. You may remember last week I said I was going to do a stream of playing Rage Against the Machine on bass. Very like, smash the system. I did that, and within about 3 minutes it had been taken down because Sony don't want you to rage against the machine. They want you to they want you to go away. Which is a very strange thing. You're not allowed to do like covers or transformative works with their stuff, which is odd. Because if it was allowed to go out there with the revenue going to them, they would get revenue. Why would you block material like that? I don't understand it.
No, I don't know.
No, very odd. But yeah, it happened.
Oh, you can't see on the stream.
What's that?
There's a dog here. I'm not just waving my hand randomly. It's on my webcam, but I'm only a square version of it, aren't I?
1 second. Hello.
There you go. That's more important than seeing me.
That's Rogue.
There you go.
Oh, Paul.
Good guess.
Hello, Rogue. Bye, dog. So yeah, the rest of this week I've been writing in a physical book, trying to get my head together to like, I need to edit these videos, I need to film these videos, and yeah, it's all coming together. So I'm doing a couple of videos tomorrow, one of which I will talk about at the end of the stream. I'm going to be doing a mix for a competition, which I'm not really allowed to win, but I thought I'd jump in just for the fun of it. And then I'm going to be doing something in the evening. I can't remember what it was, so I'm going to look in the back of my book. It was, remixing some more, 7-string bass, because I did a version of Africa ages ago, where I recorded every part on that's the one, but I recorded every part on a 7-string bass. And I wasn't particularly happy with the mix on reflection. So I'm going to go back, deconstruct it, show everybody what I did, how I did it, then reconstruct the mix the way that I would do it now. Because it's one of those things that I didn't have a sub at the time. And it turns out there was a lot of really low sub stuff in that was messing with the mix. That as soon as I got the sub and I listened back to that song, I was like, oh no. But now, yeah, on the sub and also on headphones with SonarWorks, which really even out the low end, I can hear it all, and I'm just like, let's fix that. So, yeah, that'll be really interesting to go to, because the kick drum isn't a kick drum, it's me hitting the bass, the vocals are the top line on the bass, etc., etc., etc. So it'll be interesting to look at it from a perspective of, this isn't what the track name says it is, how do we achieve something? So, yeah, so that's going to be interesting, and then I'm going to go and play all of Final Fantasy VII over the weekend. So, yes, that's my
talking about music and computer games, I started playing the Stranger Things 3 game that they've just brought out, and the 8-bit audio on that is absolutely insane.
Yeah?
It's so good. Yeah, it's a really well put together game. It was on Game Pass this week.
All right.
And it's a really nice, like, have a look at it. It'll bring you back to the 90s. Like, it looks like an old theme hospital or like Simpsons game from that era, where you're going around the town having to like go and find things and smash boxes to get coins to go and buy stuff. It reminds me of one of the old Simpsons games. It's so much fun. But yeah, the music in it is brilliant. They've done a really good job of like bringing I mean, obviously, like, it's like 80s, 90s sort of style, so it fits perfectly with the sort of the setting of Stranger Things. But yeah, I was really, really impressed. I've been enjoying that a lot this week.
Awesome. Is that still on Game Pass? Is that still available? Because I'll go and get it.
Yeah, it only came on this week, I think, or last week.
I will jump on later this evening and get hold of that.
It's nice as well because it's like it's mostly like just point and click with your mouse, so you can kind of like just sit back and just like. I mean, theoretically, you don't even need to use your keyboard. You can click the abilities if you really want to, because it's not that sort of intense. But it goes through the whole story of the season 3. So it starts off the swimming pool with Will's mum at the pool with Billy and stuff. It's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the music's brilliant in it. Have a listen.
Oh, something from one of our regular viewers, the Bommel, just before we go to the news, as individually calibrated headphones just arrived from SonarWorks. Apparently it's night and day. I've been meaning to talk to those guys about maybe sending in these old battleships and getting a calibration profile made specifically for these. So that, if that's really night and day, then that's something I think I'm going to do. Not until after the end of tomorrow, though, because I've got mixes to do. I might do some fun videos on Monday of, these are my cheap headphones, let's see if we can mix. It'll just sound shocking.
Cool. To the news?
The news! So, the first piece of news, before we get to the NVIDIA thing, is something that started on Twitter. So this is from Adam Audio, who make the speakers that I tend to use. And they started off by putting these kind of bro cartoons up. Like, I heard that something new from Adam Audio is coming soon. And they're just really silly, like maybe a folding monitor or a monitor with an integrated selfie stick. And so that they did a whole series of these to get a thing going, like I read on Twitter it's going to be a monitor that goes down to 33 hertz, blah blah blah, and just real like crap jokes. And they finally said it's going to be part of the Adam T series. So this is the new T8V, which is a big old speaker that can do 118 decibels. And so there was some news from gearnews.com. They are, in UK pounds, £239 each. Or, €300. So probably about $300 each for these, which for something that's pretty big and goes down to 33 hertz, that's decent value. In that range, I think there's only them and maybe Cali Audio who do the LP8, and that's about it for value in that sort of ridiculous range at that sort of price point. Cool. So yeah, Thomann are doing a deal on them if you pre-order them now, because they'll be available within, I think it's 4 to 5 weeks. I'm sure they would have been available now, but things happen. Yes, so I like Adam Audio stuff. The tweeters here are apparently a lot less powerful than the ones in like the A series, which is what I use. But then I'm paying more than twice as much for the privilege. So I would expect them to be higher power and more high detail. But apparently these can really rattle the walls. So yeah, if you're budget conscious and want big monitors, I mean, especially if you're considering not getting a subwoofer, that might be the way to go for you.
Good stuff.
So on to what you were telling me about before the stream. Something that I saw a quick clip from Barnacle Nerdgasm, a guy called Jerry, and he's a very well-known tech YouTuber. He used to code for Microsoft. He was part of the Windows team, and so he's a real tech head. He really knows what he's doing. And I thought he was being silly at first because he had like a giant fan next to him, and he was hitting the desk with a hammer whilst talking, and it was just him talking. And I thought he was being silly, and then he turned this RTX Voice from NVIDIA off, and suddenly it sounded like a construction site. So, yeah, really impressive. Apparently, it's a new feature that they're using. Everyone's been saying, like, these tensor cores and this kind of thing. What are they even for? What's the point? Well, NVIDIA have made a thing that takes advantage of it. And
so,
so just before the stream, Liam was playing some white noise right into the microphone whilst.
Let's try it, because it wasn't actually on. So, can you hear this?
Yep, can hear that loud and clear.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it on. Still there?
Yep, you sound a little muffled, but you're there. You might want to speak up a bit.
But is the noise suppression there? Can you hear the fan in the background still?
That white noise fan thing is completely gone.
It's completely gone.
Completely.
It's still on. It's not changed at all. If I keep talking now, I'm going la 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 la, keep talking, saying words.
Wow.
And now it's off, so you can hear it, I guess.
Yeah, I can hear it now.
I can't hear what you guys can hear, so I don't know. Yeah. So
that was night and day. That was from the first words you said were slightly muffled, but the more you talked, your voice cleared up.
Yeah, it needs to figure out that I'm not the noise.
Yeah, I think it just needed to work out your vocal profile.
Yeah, I wasn't saying anything, which is the thing, yeah.
Yeah, but even as soon as you turned it on, there was no white noise. That's incredible. It's very good indeed.
Yeah, so, I saw a guy doing it with a Hoover. Which is ridiculous. Like, yeah, so the fact that NVIDIA RTX is now voice, not just graphics, then kind of interesting if you go back to do you need a good graphics card for audio?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder whether they will, like, this technology in audio production, like, at the moment I can't see how you could put it in through something like Premiere or anything from what I was looking on the website.
Right.
But if it was like a plug-in for Premiere, like, that would be pretty useful.
I mean, I could probably make that work using something like, there's a program called VST Host, which you can use like a very clever routing thing. So I could send audio out of something like Premiere, treat it like a microphone source, and then send it through. I could make it work. It would be
Well, the way that I was saying about the way that it works is it creates a new input and output device.
Yeah.
So I've now got all my loopbacks for my Evo. I've got my Voice Meter Banana ones, and now I've got an extra one, which is RTX Voice.
Right.
Which is taking, and then the RTX Voice setup, you set your input device.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could send something through a channel in Voice Meter in and out through this, and use it as an effects channel.
Yeah. So it's a kludge. It's kind of a bodgy thing, but you could do it.
Mm.
Mm.
But it's just like having like outboard hardware, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, just
except
treating it
it's
like
inside the same computer.
Yeah.
And
Okay, well,
using
put it
your
in your
graphics
laptop then.
Oh,
so
man.
that you can use that as your noise suppression hardware.
Oh, haven't you got a 2000 series graphics card in your laptop?
It's a 2070, yeah.
Yeah, mine's a 1060. So, no noise suppression for me. But you can do it.
Yeah, that's where it's working. I was thinking that. So yeah, I've got the little sticker that says GeForce RTX.
RTX on. Silence. And now that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean it is good considering. That's interesting actually. 1 second. Let's just do a little test on this. So if I load up, it might affect my audio. Let's find out. If I turn my laptop onto performance mode. 1 second. Make it do something. Oh, my trial for Ada Extreme is over.
Oh, you're trying to get it to sound like a Hoover.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason that you don't hear the laptop noise in the background on my microphone is because not only have I chosen to use a very directional dynamic microphone, which is less than an inch away from my mouth, but also pointed away from the laptop, which is the noise generating thing in the room, but I've got a noise gate on the signal that's relatively aggressive as well.
So
Otherwise, yeah.
So can you hear my fan?
No, I can hear a tiny bit of handling noise. I can hear a bit of grunk grunk as you move the microphone around, but that's literally just the mic cable making odd noises.
It's not loud enough. I've got the thing turned off.
Oh, you got it turned off. Is the normal Discord noise reduction thing on?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Right, so that's probably catching that much of it then.
No, sorry, it's not. Sorry, it's off.
Oh, right, okay.
No fan noise.
Yeah, I can hear it, but not very loud.
Okay.
I don't know if the codec's filtering it out at that point.
Yeah. It was just going to be interesting because I wasn't sure whether when my laptop's fully powered, whether it was actually coming through. Regardless. But I suppose if you do have that situation, like if I had a different mic, so this isn't necessarily going to. If I had like a condenser or something that was picking up more.
Yeah.
Let me turn this off now because I'm running my computer at full whack, automatic.
We'll be getting our SM7B back soon, by the way.
Oh, cool.
It needs an entire new capsule. Don't know
you
what
mentioned
happened.
that on stream.
I did.
You mentioned that on stream, yeah.
Yeah, so it turns out, the entire capsule's gone. So now that's being sorted by Shure themselves. Yeah. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just my luck that this seems to happen. Like, I've got this expensive microphone, I buy a new little accessory for it, the microphone dies. It's like, I got a nice-ish car, it's getting a little old, I buy some new wheels for it, the engine breaks. You know, that kind of thing is just the way that my luck works. Is that I've always been like...
What? You sure you don't want to revisit? Do you remember we had a debate in about 2014 where both of us were sure that we paid for that mic? Maybe you want to revisit that one now.
Why? So you want to? So you'd pay for the repair?
Yeah, exactly. It's broken now. I swear you bought it, Liam. So as is the case with all this stuff, because the way that we started the company, there was Adam's gear and the studio, and there was my gear at the time, and
Yeah.
Banter, and then we merged it all into the studio. And about 2 years later, after we'd spent money on lots of different things, both of us sat there going, Did I buy this mic? And then I bought this mic. Like, God, I was like, screw it. Let's say you bought it, the studio could own it. I can't remember. We were both adamant that we both paid for it. The amount of crap that we were having to buy for everything.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing we're friends, because we were looking at this stuff going, I really don't remember.
Yeah, it's only like a few £100 or whatever.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Lesser people would definitely fall out of money for that, but
Yeah.
nah, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is really interesting. That one of the biggest things in audio this week is from NVIDIA.
From a graphics card, yeah. It's really quite impressive. I mean, if any of the 2000 series can do this as well, so like a 2060, which isn't that expensive, can do this. I mean, does it have different degrees of noise reduction, or is it right?
It's got a slider. So you set it to, at the moment, mine's set to, doesn't have a number annoyingly, but I'd say that looks like 95%.
Right, okay. So you could, as like a pro audio guy, you could back it down to maybe 20%, 30% and have a...
Yeah, if you actually wanted to try and use it as, I mean, it could be cool to try and use it as a plugin by doing it like an in and out with it and seeing how it actually affects. Because for me, like, the artifacting is there, but it's nothing compared to other noise reduction like that I've used. Anyway, I was really impressed by it, and the fact it does it live as well and without massive overheads. Like, let's see, is it doing much? Is it even listed on my processors?
Well, it won't
Okay,
be. That's
so
the
it's
thing.
using. Oh no, it's interesting. So it is using 2% of my CPU.
Right, 2%. I mean, it's 2%.
It's so Google File Stream is doing something. Discord's using 5%. This is using 2%. So it's a third on the list, and it's using a gig of memory.
Ah, right. Well, that'll be it. The processor usage will be mostly it keeping up to speed with the data and feeding it to the right cores on the graphics card.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a particularly high processor overhead, but it needs to be there because it needs to get the information to the right part of the graphics card somehow.
So this is weird. So it's closed down at the moment. The interface isn't open, but it is using 2% of my GPU.
Yeah.
And it's an audio program. What the fuck?
Yeah, bizarre, isn't it? I mean, most of the stuff that I do now uses the graphics card in some shape or form. Like, a lot of the plugins that I use, most of the graphics, the 3D stuff is all offloaded to GPU processing. Whenever I do any kind of streaming, the encoding is all done on the NVIDIA graphics card. Like, I'm doing this now with loads of Chrome tabs, your camera coming in from Discord, my camera coming in from a phone, all this kind of stuff being composited, and it's using 5% of the processor to stream this live to the world. Because it's all been offloaded once it's all composited straight to the GPU to do the rest of the hard work. Crazy. And it's not even screaming at 100% usage. It's nowhere near. It's not even really bothered. It's got it does have a dedicated part on the graphics chip, which this is the NVIDIA page. It talks about NVEnc, the NVIDIA encoder.
Oh crap! Cancel. I might disappear. My computer's trying to do my graphics card update now.
Oh, good time.
Yeah.
Not now.
I know, I'm trying to click the X button and it's not listening. It's updating. So I will go black at some point, I'm sure.
Uh-oh.
I will be back.
But yeah, the graphics quality of the NV encoder has come a long way over the last few years. So this actually, our stream looks better, or at least as good as a CPU-based encoder. And yeah, it means that I can do things like I can do a full mix on stream, which is very CPU intensive, and still do it on live stream from the same computer. That's impressive. I mean, that's ridiculous. Anywho.
That was it.
You're back though. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Live driver
Yeah.
transplant. That's impressive.
Indeed. My computer's using 28% of its processor right now.
Oh. Let's have a
You
look
have
what
a
mine's
lot of
using
crap
in
going on in the
total.
background.
Uh,
Oh, right,
my-
that wasn't the total. I thought that was
Oh, right. No, that's
total.
just for OBS. Mine's using 52% in total.
Right.
Discord's using a fair bit, actually.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Discord's getting bloated, more and more bloated.
Yeah. And then there's OBS, and then there's Chrome. Because, like I said, I've got all these Chrome tabs. Because I'm watching the stream chat coming back, and I've got Restream going, and And it's
So
all-
yeah, if you do any audio where you need noise reduction, or if you're working from home at the moment, so this links directly into Zoom, Slack, Discord, pretty much anything that you're going to use audio for in terms of meetings. So I think that's probably why they've been kind of pushing it out, because at the moment it's one of the biggest problems that people have got at the moment is that no one knows how to use video chat properly.
Yeah.
I tried to do a family video call on Facebook on FaceTime, and it was awful. Just everyone in the family trying to talk over them, and kids and stuff, and it was just you couldn't hear a thing. I was trying to set up a Jackbox game with them, which should be really simple, and it was I had to give up in the end. I was like, it's just not possible. You guys aren't listening. Trying to send a link to my mum on her phone to open a YouTube stream, and just no, no, that was too much. So yeah, Skype, Slack, Zoom, WebEx, Twitch Studio, XSplit, OBS, Discord, and Chrome all can be configured to use it.
Very impressive.
So,
And this can be yours for the low price of a minimum of about £300, so $350. A 2080 Ti is over $1,000. But you don't buy it just for this.
I mean, I bet I'm gonna have to try after this though. Is like you can use it on you, as I was saying to Adam before the stream, you can use it on your outbound sound as well. So if you turn on the outbound, then you can. It says, as an example, it says, go click on a YouTube video that has an interview on the street, and it'll do noise reduction of the video you're watching. It's like I'm gonna try that because I don't trust it to work and not just mess up the sound of what I'm listening to. I can imagine it doing noise reduction for the footsteps when I'm playing a game of CS:GO. I just can't hear a guy coming and get shot in the back.
Yeah. Make sure it's turned off. Yeah.
So yeah, but I think I'll definitely try it out after the stream to see.
So let's move on. So company called Dwarfcraft Devices, who've made some really good effects pedals, are closing down, but not because of the same situation as the whole COVID thing. They are a husband and wife couple that have been making these world-renowned fuzz pedals and such for 13 years now, and they've decided that now's a good time for them to finish what they're doing. And it's Ben and Louise Hines, the makers of Dwarfcraft, are doing a special edition of their Eau Claire Thunder pedal, which is there's a doom band called Boris, who I quite like when I'm feeling particularly moody. Boris is basically just turn the volume to 1,000,000 and just go. You think I'm exaggerating? No, really. Yeah, proper doom metal. And so they're making a special edition of these the Boris Love and Evol for the fuzz pedals, and then they're calling it a day. The two of them, one of them, she's got her dream job, and the husband Ben is going back to art school. So it's not that it's not a bad thing. They've just decided this is we've done what we wanted to do, and we're moving on. So I wish those guys all the best.
Yes.
And yes, there's going to be 20 units each of these two Love and Evolve fuzz pedals. So if you want one, get one now because you only have one chance. And yeah, these are not going to be repeated because the company is not going to exist anymore. So yeah, if you like fuzz, get it while it's loud. Okay, so this is something that I thought was a particularly odd headline. I've not had much chance to read into this, but the headline is, listen to the AI-generated music helping MIT fight the coronavirus.
Okay.
Yeah, so, okay. apparently, using AI to turn the coronavirus protein into a musical composition is something you can listen to right now.
Okay.
Apparently, it helps them study the virus faster and more effectively. So yeah, the amino acids are assigned notes, which an AI algorithm turns into music. I don't quite know how that would help, but it sure sounds cool. So yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe they're all just listening to it while they work on it or something. But yeah, I mean that's pretty cool that they've typical MIT. They're like, I'm bored of this music. Make me new music. What do we have that we're making new music from? This thing. Plug this thing into the music generator. Boom.
I am baffled.
Only at MIT. This is where people do things like there was a guy at MIT who did a challenge, which was essentially a marathon, on his hands and knees down the corridors of MIT. Yeah. They're a strange bunch. They achieve some amazing things. But I won't say they're not strange.
Mm-hmm.
So, next Muse topic. Muse topic. That's a band. So, here's one that I hadn't heard of before. A DAW called Soundation. It's browser-based, and apparently now it gets real-time collaboration. So, yeah, it's like, well, the sub-headline is like Google Docs for music making, which seems to make sense. It looks like, yeah, you can add lots of MIDI and make lots of tracks in your browser, and now you can have other people join in and add stuff. So, yeah, apparently it's still kind of a little rough going in terms of getting your come on, brain, your interface working with it. Some brands work perfectly, some are a little bit tricky. It's got a minimum buffer size of 256 samples, which isn't particularly low, but that's probably so there's a little bit of time to get signals to and from Chrome or to and from other people's computers. And yeah, so all you need is an interface. And I think...
Is that low enough to record collaboratively?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am using 256 sample latency right now with my audio fuse. I could probably get it a bit lower than that, but that's absolutely fine for what I'm doing at home. You know, lower would be nice, but it really is, and this is an opinion piece, but it really is a luxury rather than a you must do this.
So with that number of sample size, how would that relate into real world sort of milliseconds?
Depends on the device. It can range anywhere from about 5 milliseconds to about 12, depending on who you ask.
Okay, so lower than human reaction time. So
just about, yeah. I mean, the longer side of 256, you do start to notice it, but that again.
Well, human reaction time is like 200 milliseconds, really. So,
problem with audio is it's not the same as human reaction, like what you're describing with you hear a gunshot, click the mouse. It's not that. It's more to do with things like balance and that kind of thing. If you give someone too much of a latency on the headphones, you can get dizzy and that kind of thing with vocals coming through with too much latency.
There's a brilliant board game we played at Christmas that does exactly that.
Yeah,
you've got to try and I can't remember exactly. You have to try and describe things whilst having a headset on that had like half a millisecond latency on it, and it's just impossible to speak.
Probably was about half a second.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it was so fun because everyone's talking like this.
Yeah, it messes you right up, doesn't it? It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had that done before where there's an app on a phone called it was called a Scrambler. It was free, and you just held it up to your face and just talked, and that happened because it did that. It just repeated it back to you just too late that your brain was like, I don't.
Yeah.
Turns your mouth into just as if you're chewing a toffee.
So the reason why I thought about it is that, like, if you're playing along to something, what you hear in your ears. So then, say you're playing a bass part, and like I don't know, say you're just noodling with someone and they're playing a guitar part. So you're listening to it and you're deciding kind of where it's going and playing alongside just jamming.
Yeah.
There is going to be a latency going backwards and forwards there if you're both creating something on the spot.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
I'm not entirely sure how that would work. I don't know if that's possible, but I think the idea behind collaborative recording is one of you records at once.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever's doing the recording gets priority, I guess. However that works. That's definitely a per developer thing, however they're going to make that work.
Well, I was saying at 12 milliseconds, if it ended up being that plus your overhead from your ISP, which is going to be depending on where you are and also where this is hosted. So is it cloud hosted or is it hosted on one of the machines from a host? Because that would make a difference as well.
It doesn't say anywhere.
So let's say, for argument's sake, it gets hosted on my computer, then there's the latency from you to me would probably end up being about 50 to 60 maybe.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to end up with about 80 milliseconds, which is still really low. So
for audio, that's too much though. If I tried to play along to 80 milliseconds of latency, that wouldn't work. Yeah. In terms of playing a game, like a multiplayer game, like you say, the reaction times, I think you would be fine. But for audio only, that's way too much. That would throw you right off. 80 milliseconds is like 4 frames at 60 frames a second, which doesn't sound like much, but musically that's like half a beat off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why there aren't any games multiplayer-wise that rely on spot-on timing.
So it'll be interesting to see how this works then, because technically then, even with that, regardless of the playing live with someone else, all your recordings are going to be out slightly.
But that's where every recording that everybody does is out slightly, but DAWs for the last 20 years have a thing called PDC, which is, I can't remember what it stands for, persistent delay compensation. It's something delay compensation. So it knows, because of measurements and it knows because of the buffer size and that kind of thing, how late the samples are going to be, and when you finished recording, you hit stop, it moves it back by that much.
So that works with hardware where you do have a persistent delay, but you're not going to get that over an internet stream. It is going to change slightly. So
yeah, so I don't know if you'd be able to I don't think you'd be able to jam along with somebody else.
No, but then on that basis, it would have to cache the audio to the other person's computer. If it was streaming the audio from your house basically to mine via the browser, so it means that once you record something, it says collaboratively, but it means that theoretically you'd have to record it and then I'd have to download it, although it would get cached.
Yeah,
so it wouldn't be like a download button.
I mean, we're talking at low enough latency right now on this.
We're not.
I mean, arguably.
Right. Count to 10, and I'll try and count along with you.
Right. No. Yeah, I know that we're not at zero latency.
You'll find it's quite far. With Discord, it's quite far out. If you try and sing a song with someone on Discord, you can't do it.
Yeah. No. That makes a lot of sense. What I mean is that the latency is reasonably low enough that if I was just listening to you track something, it wouldn't be a million miles out. But then as soon as you hit stop, I think it would then upload the WAV file quality version to me, and it'd know how many samples to set it back by. Because at that point, it's just a copy and paste of data.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it might take a few seconds. But I mean, I've got 70, 80 megabit download, 20 megabit upload. It wouldn't take very long for a mono WAV file of a performance that I did to get over to somebody else.
Depends where you are. It'd be interesting to see, because I feel having to wait even 5 seconds for something that you're used to being snappy makes a whole process unusable. I was doing a blog post the other day on a WordPress site where clicking to open to put a 100-page document into a blog post,
Mm.
and each element in it, when I clicked on it, it would take 5 seconds before I could click on it because the server wasn't responding fast enough. And then I'd click and paste, and it'd take another 5 seconds, and that whole process took days just because of that extra 5 seconds here and there made the whole process completely unenjoyable.
Yeah.
I think you could end up with a similar experience with this, where it would just be sluggish as a result of all of this, that may take away from the collaborative element of it. So I'd be keen to use it to see, because answers to all those questions are a big part of why ISDN lines existed and all that stuff.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Mhm.
So yeah, check that out. I mean, yeah, apparently you get only 5 gigabytes of storage for audio, but it's £7, and then yeah, you can pay more. Oh right, okay, so you can import up to 5 gigabytes of audio data using the premium plan. That's import 5 gig of audio, not recording 5 gig of audio. But I'll have to have a look, because there's different pricing plans for it. It seems a little complicated. But I'll check that out for next week and see if there's anything I can play with. Might be worth talking about. So, moving on. Line 6 have released a new update for all their Helix and HX pedals and their Helix native software as well, which some of my friends who use Helix stuff are very excited about. It now includes the Rev Generator Purple channel, which is channel 3, which is the really aggressive channel. I know a lot of models of amps, when you look at amp models, they don't have the real names. You know, it's like the Mars instead of Marshall, that kind of thing, because of copyright names. Rev, who make the Generator amp, are real up-and-comers. We met Rev at NAMM. Really nice people. And they said from day one, when apparently Line 6 bought their top-of-the-range amp from them, £3,000 or whatever, so they were serious. And so they decided right then and there, we're going to talk to these guys, we're going to do this properly, and we're going to let them use the Rev name and all that kind of stuff, make sure that they've got the legal rights to do it. And I think that's a very clever way of doing it, because that means that everybody who uses the Helix now, if they go through and they go, I don't like this sound, I don't like this sound, I like this sound, and they look at it and they know exactly who it is, they might go out and buy the real thing. It's very clever. And so yeah, that's in there. There's other new stuff as well. There's a couple of new cabs. There's some new pedals. Yeah, a sub-decay harmonic antagonizer and so other stuff like that. So there's new features, and I've downloaded it and I'm gonna check it out, because I now have a copy of Helix Native. So I'm gonna see what's new and see if it sounds any good.
Good stuff.
There's is Guitar Center headed for insolvency? That's a news article on gearnews.com. Apparently, the Kansas City Health Department has closed Guitar Center down because they tried to say that they were an essential business, and their rules are slightly different than ours in the UK. So, yeah, they basically have been shut down. And
Wow.
Guitar Center weren't doing well to begin with. Their reputation has suffered over the last few years because, I mean, if you've ever been into a big guitar store where it's like, yeah, they've got all these really nice, cool guitars, and then the staff don't know their backside from their elbow, and they're just trying to sell you things. And they've all been ground down by a million 9-year-olds coming into the store every Saturday morning going really badly. So, yeah, where companies like Sweetwater are doing really well in the US. Sweetwater, I don't live in the US, but by all accounts from people I know, you get a representative from Sweetwater assigned to you, so you can build a personal relationship. They get to know what you like and what you want to buy, and that's the kind of thing that sets them apart. Whereas I think if I went into a Guitar Center, there are equivalents in the UK. I go in, I either know exactly what I want, I get it, and I leave, or I kind of wander around and they go, "Is there anything I can help you with?" And I'm like, "Probably not. I probably know more about these guitars than you, pal." But that's not just because of who I am. That's like anyone who's a semi-serious guitarist. You walk in, you ask them a question, and they're like, "I don't know. I'll get the manager." So, feel free to drink along with the stream, by the way. I'm drinking rum and lemonade from a pint glass again.
I got some coffee.
I don't have a problem. You have a problem. Like I've said a few times, I only tend to drink when I'm on stream. So, yeah, it gives the impression that I drink all the time, but I don't.
Yeah.
Sure. So, yeah, apparently they're... Guitar Center were trying to claim that they've got a highly automated facility which makes it possible for people to keep 6 foot distance, and the Kansas Health Association, or whatever you call them, the city health officials came in and basically said, no.
Wow.
So yeah, they weren't doing well to begin with, but this may be the nail in the coffin for Guitar Center. And hopefully they'll be replaced by something better. So, yeah. So, somewhere where the employees care about the customers, you know. Last but not least, this is kind of a news article. A band called Dragged Under, the guitarist of whom is Fluff from the Riffs, Beards and Gear Ryan Bruce Fluff channel, and the guys from Pro Mix Academy, that is to say, Warren Hewitt, Produce Like a Pro, those guys, are doing a mix contest. So one of the songs by Dragged Under, called Chelsea, is you basically have to take the song and remix it. If you want to completely redo the song and add your own instrumentation and stuff, you can as well. But yeah, it's all... You don't have very long to download this and get cracking. So if you're interested, it's at ratemymix.com. And so there are some big prizes. First prize is a pair of Neumann headphones, Neumann speakers, Sennheiser headphones, lots of microphones, lots of stuff from Line 6, Yamaha and UAD, and lots of good stuff. Second prize is almost as big. Third prize is nearly as big as well, and they're absolutely huge. So there's a lot going on there. So the reason that I wanted to mention this, partly I know the guys at Pro Mix Academy, and I definitely wanted to give them a shout. It's a big... I don't think I've ever seen a mix contest with as big a prize fund. But also, tomorrow morning, I'm going to do a mix of this song as well. I've decided that I'm going to do one. I mean, I'm not going to win, because even if I did, I would be very clear and just be like, look, I know the guy's not really eligible. I just want to do it for fun. And I want to do a live stream of it tomorrow and talk through my processes and how I would do certain things. So I'm going to be doing it at 9 a.m. UK time tomorrow, so I pretty much don't expect anybody to watch, but it's an excuse for me to get my backside out of bed and do something, because as this quarantine situation gets on, I'm getting worse and worse at getting up in the mornings. So if I've got people actually watching me, then that'll give me some impetus to actually get up.
I wish I had that luxury.
Well, I have lots to do. And
you've had a lot on your plate, so being able to get lying, I think you deserve it.
Yeah. Well, every other day, I'm up at about 7:30 to get Ivy and change nappies and go and feed her, and then get Weetabix thrown in my face, and so on and so on and so on. We've been doing a one-on, one-off rotation, but yeah, on my days off, quote unquote. I seem to be just going, so this will give me some reason to get up in the morning. And yeah, so then it'll be probably on the VOD by 5 o'clock. Because by the time I finish, I'm going to try and aim for it to be a 3-hour stream. So 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. our time. Might be shorter, might be longer, don't know. And then after that, I'll go and cry in a corner for a little while and do some editing on some of the other videos that we've got. And then I'm going to be doing the Africa remix in the evening, probably 9 p.m. So it's going to be a long day.
Good stuff, though. Good stuff.
Yeah, there's only so much I can bake cakes. I'm starting to get slightly round. So
Yeah.
I made an amazing fruit cake yesterday, but I've already had a large chunk of it, and I'm now a large chunk of it. So yes, that's the end of the news. Check that out from Drag Thunder and Pro Mix Academy. Seems to be some stuff going on in chat about there's a new the gating compressor on the Helix where you can actually see there's a feedback meter, so you can see how much compression's going on. That's fantastic, because that really helps people like me who like to watch lots of needles going, so that we know that it's doing the thing. But yeah, this is the part of the stream where we ask for questions. So, question from Harry Anderson. Can I suggest a pair of reference headphones with a flatter response for under $300? See how much you can get a pair of Sennheiser HD 650s for. Whether you have to get them from somewhere used, I don't know, or what, but I really recommend 650s for mixing. They're about £300 right now, so you can probably find them around the $300 mark. And yeah, the frequency response on them is fairly flat. If you can, on top of that, treat yourself and get SonarWorks for headphones, and that will correct the rest of it. You still got your pair of 600s somewhere, haven't you?
Yeah, I just need a new cable.
And Christian has got my other pair of 650s. Because, yeah, I got two pairs of 650s and he's got my others.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I do need to get a new cable, because now that I've got the mic, I would definitely go back to them. Especially because I've got headphones for calls on pretty much all day. Having some open backs would be way more comfortable.
I highly recommend one of these cables that I've got. It's the same connector ends. They're really, really nice. It was an eBay job. It's a guy that just makes them, and he makes them custom length and braided. And
I thought your one of them broke.
It did. My previous one, which was from a different maker, it wasn't nearly as nice as this one. Same price, but this one's nice and thin, light, doesn't catch on my. You ever notice with those like rubberized cables that they catch and pull on things? Yeah, this is actually made of like braided cloth, and it doesn't do that. Really nice. And yeah, you can get it with a big end or a small end, or whatever you like. And so I've got mine custom made to have like a longer split hib than you usually get, because I always found that with what I do, I might be playing guitar, I might catch it, that kind of thing. And yeah, mine are 2 meters long, which is just enough to get to the interface or to stick in my pocket with an iPod or whatever, and not stupid long that I've got trailing cable everywhere, but not so short that I'm just stuck to whatever it is I'm plugged into. So yeah, I'll
send me the link. Yeah,
I'll find. Come on, brain. I'll find you the link of the guy who made mine. Because yeah,
be appreciated.
Yes. For the cost of a pair of those Sennheiser HD 650s or 600s, yeah, I think it's about £30 for a really nice handmade cable. May as well. I mean, you've got the Evo there as well. You've got a nice audio interface to drive you headphones. Yeah, I think that'll be good times.
I mean, they are going. I mean, the headphones that I've got are meant to have a USB connection, but I've unplugged that and added an extender so it can go into the Evo.
Right.
So I am using it for that as well.
Yeah. But especially what can be an issue with something like 650s is they need a lot of power to drive them, which a lot of interfaces have, because they're designed for people like us who need more output and more clarity than the average home user. So like, if I was to use this pair of 650s and plug them into an old iPod or like an iPhone 6 or something, they wouldn't be very loud at max volume, whereas something with like I'm using this Arturia audio fuse or any of the audience interfaces, anything like that, you definitely get enough level out of them. I've got my volume here at 12 o'clock, so I've got loads of room I can go to, which also means that when I'm mixing, I don't need to crank every channel, so not much clips, and I can just turn the headphones up, and everything works well. And yeah, if I want to play a game that's got loads of sub, yeah, it works perfectly well. So, yes. Pommel's actually using 20 euro Superlux headphones. You crazy, crazy man you are. So, any more questions to be thrown in the chat from our audience for the week's tech questions? Reminds me, I must get in contact with the people who make Soothe, the Ook sound people, because that's a very cool looking plugin, and I've been using the stuff. So I was using an Audience Sono. Would the 650s work with them then? You mean one of these? Yes, works perfectly well with those. Before I put the audio fuse in, because I'm doing a lot of tracking at home, which I don't usually do, the Sono was and will be my usual recording and live streaming rig, and the headphone outputs in these work perfectly well together. If anything, it's one of the better headphone amps I've used that's not an external dedicated headphone amp. Somewhere in a bag behind me, I do actually have a dedicated separate 18-volt headphone amp. So if I ever need it, I can drive things. I remember giving, for a while, I gave that to one of our graphic designers, Raz, who was into like serious loud drum and bass. And I'd never seen such a big smile on his face as to when he was listening to this, like, with the headphones like jumping off his head using this 18-volt headphone amp. It was incredible. But yeah, I don't think I'd ever used that headphone amp with that much kick before, because I wanted it for crazy headroom, so that if any rock or metal or anything had a big pooh in it, it didn't suddenly just like choke. It just had the breathing room and voltage and all that kind of stuff to just give me all the transients. But yeah, he just wanted it for out and out volume. And yeah, it could kick out some volume, I can tell you that. So yeah, has anything else happened in this last week? A lot happens every week. I actually had an entire day off on Wednesday and just spent my time installing my new PS4 and putting all the software updates on it. And did you ever play Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yes.
Is it any good?
It's fantastic.
Right, I might get that. I think it's a $5 on the PlayStation Store right now.
Oh yeah, 100% worth it. Like one of the best games I've ever played.
Right, okay.
Like, the story in it's fantastic. Like, yeah.
I mean, they could have called it anything other than Alloy. But still.
Aloy.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
the blending of two worlds is an alloy. It's like,
yeah, it's really, really good. The story in it, I loved it. I haven't played any of the DLC, which I do regret having not got around to yet. But no, fantastic game, great story, really interesting world. I found it really difficult at the start. I really struggled with it, but I came around to it. Some people find it easy, but I don't play a lot of console, to be honest, so the controller's not the best for me these days.
With my aged PC Master Race hands
Exactly.
locked in the WASD position. You just walk around with the... Are you pretending to be a raptor? No, I'm a gamer. My hands are just locked.
I have two positions. I have Dota position with a 4 and a line, and then I have FPS position, which is WASD. But they are the only shapes my hands make on the controller. It doesn't quite work.
The curse of the gamer. Question from the Bommel. Have I checked out the stereo room IRs? So he's making impulse responses of a church and using some really clever stereo mic techniques. I tried checking them out. I kind of liked them, but the loaders that I was using didn't want to load separate left and right files. So I remember mentioning when he was making them that if you want to do a stereo IR, you definitely have to make a stereo file, because then a lot of IR loaders will play nicely with it. So if you want to do that, I will check them out again and see what because they were like a 2x12 in a position. It sounded like the mics were a little too far away for me, but it might be that when it's in stereo, if I just blend them with another close mic, that does the job that I was looking for. But yeah, they seem pretty cool and will probably be definitely be worth checking out when they're cooked, as it were. I saw some pictures from that session. It looked pretty cool. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I rearranged my entire little setup down here because I nearly set fire to a cable this week. That was fun. I've got a PV5150 down below my feet, and that is a very loud, very hot amp. And because I was in a rush taking a load of gear from the studio, I didn't realise that there's a cover panel in the back of the amp that stops you from getting things in the amp, but it also lets the heat out. And I forgot that, so the amp back is open, and so a cable round the back kind of leant in and touched one of the tubes, and I was like, smells smoke. Uh-oh. Yeah. Everything is fine. Everyone is fine. I now know not to let any cables go anywhere near that. We're absolutely fine.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Right. Are we have any more questions, or
I think
half time?
I think that's it for questions. So thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been emotional.
You'll be on tomorrow, 9 a.m.
9 a.m. I will have a coffee in my hand and I will look a lot more tired than this, I'm sure. But we will be mixing nevertheless. So thank you, everybody. So, until next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. Same bad time, same bad channel. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you next week or tomorrow. Goodbye.